Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let us recite Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. O Allah, you are the most merciful, the most compassionate, the most forgiving. Please forgive all our sins, our parents, our families, and the Muslim Ummah. O Allah, please make us to be your best servants and your best viceroy. O Allah, please bless those brothers and sisters, our families, our teachers, and all those who will pass away with your forgiveness and tender. O Allah, please help us to face the challenges in our life. O Allah, please bless us in knowledge and virtue. Sallallahu alaihi Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillah. Summa alhamdulillah. We are here on the final day of the class. So how's the feeling? Don't check final, right? We still have one more final, which is the final exam of the 1st of July. 1st July also will mark the new year, not new month, which is the last month, the final month of July, for 1443. 1st July is also 1st Zulhijjah, inshallah. So it's a very memorable and historic day, right? 1st July, 1st Zulhijjah, and Friday, right? Friday, and also your PPM exam. So you must be very excited, isn't it, right? To sit for your final exam after spending 14 weeks in this subject. So the remaining week will be your revision, and then 1st July will come. Do you know the venue for your exam? I haven't received the information for the venue. The CSC hall. Okay, good. So you have to bring more jackets. It's going to be very cold, right, in the CSC. How are your brothers and sisters here? Brothers, sisters? And brothers and sisters still in the Zoom? Not many, 22 in the Zoom. I think 1/3 of the class. The rest, I have no idea. Inshallah, maybe they will come and join us later. Okay, monitoring and controlling will be the final functions of management that we're going to discuss today. Okay, why we need to monitor, why do we need to do the controlling in getting things done in organization? Because basically this is the muhasabah. Okay, the muhasabah, the hisab, the calculation, the revision, the review that you have to do to not to remember the history, not to blame yourself, but what is important, the purpose of muhasabah is to improve, for the future activities, the future endeavors, the future efforts, not to be sad or regretted with all the non-compliance, non-achievement, and so forth. Okay, for those who love to do monitoring and controlling, you will be doing auditing. Any of you here wanted to be auditors? This is the type of people who love to do monitoring and controlling. Then you will be doing the auditor's job or investigator's job, or forensic investigation, more detail into the forensic. But again, the purpose of muhasabah is not to find faults, but to improve. Even though you do your audit, forensic audit or general audit or deep audit, whatever it is,
It is not to find faults. Okay, it is not to find faults or to blame, but rather for improvement purpose. Managers must do this because you have to achieve the goal. Okay, you have a duty to achieve the goal with efficiency and effectiveness. Just to remind, today is our second white day, 14 Zul Qaeda, and many of, I think half of the Hujjaj, right, already flew to Makkah to perform, waiting for the Hajj, which is will be on the 9th of the Hijjah. Okay, the Okuf day. Any of you, your friend, your relatives are now in Medina or Makkah? No. All right. So no, whether you have or not, we pray to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala that all of them will be in the protection of Allah. At least I know we have 2 lecturers from the School of Economics. They will be flying to Makkah. So the next plane will enter into Makkah, no longer into Medina. Okay, why controlling is important? Why we need to do monitoring? Okay, what are the steps? Because this is a process. And why is that? We need to measure the organization, the company, the individuals, and also our performance. And what are the tools that people use to do the measurement? And what are the issues? Okay, Alhamdulillah, I have the opportunity to be appointed as the quality assurance officer of the Kuliah and also the university. For that reason, I also have to do the work of audits. I have to do audits. I have to do assessment. I have to do a lot of monitoring and controlling for various standards and various measurements. So this job that I also dislike to do, because you have to know the business, you have to know the activities, and more important thing, being auditor is not to find fault only, but you have to tell people how to improve. This is the most difficult part for managers, to tell their employees or to tell your co-workers how they can improve. How they can improve from the non-compliance, for the non-achieve, to better achievement, and to be more adherence to the standards and also to the goals. This is the difficult part. And only you became the enemies, so-called enemies to the workers and also to the managers. And therefore, being auditors, you have to be nice and you have to be presentable to the person. So you have to talk nicely with all the beautiful and soothing, very nice word to be heard. So the first thing first, you have to tell people, don't tell the bad things, right? Praise them. Subhanallah, MashaAllah, Tabarakallah. You have a lot of good things, MashaAllah. A lot of things you have done very good. I never thought that you can do that very well. After 5 minutes of giving the praises, however, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, until 100. I'm not counting, no? Listing. You say just now, very good. You say just now, excellent. But while you have 100 items for us to do what? For you to improve. You should be kind to the person who managed to find your deficiency or your non-compliance. You should be grateful because if they are not detailed person, attention to detail, and then you might not be able to realize your deficiency. Okay, that's why They're talking about we have to be detailed. Muhasabah in Islam, we have to be detailed. Okay, because in the hisab, your hisab is very detailed, minute detail. Even inside here, in your intention, even in your mind, is also recorded. Okay, you haven't said anything yet, just in your mind and also heart already monitored, already captured by the devices that created by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, or the agents that Allah created, the angels. We have a lot of angels. We only know the 10, right? Can you name the angel that are doing recording for us? The recorders, on our right and left, Munkar Nakir. Do you know the name of the angels, malaikat that are doing the recording? Oh, Rakit Atir, I thought Munkar Nakir. Munkar Nakir letter. The what called? In the jail, right? Subhanallah, not jail. Before that, the prosecutor. Not prosecutor yet. Just the recorders. The recorders. Rakit Atik, they are doing the recording. Can we tell them don't record, off record? Brothers, please off record. No, they are not going to listen to us because they have been created just to do this work. And throughout the life of this angel, just to do this work until when? Until all humans already gone. When all humans already gone, then their job also completed. Okay, and then the final angel to be gone from the world, from this our life, will be the one that taking life, will be the final angel to be gone. So every living things, living creatures will taste death. Okay, that's why we have to, talking about that, let us give our dua al-Fatiha to our very important figure in the education and also the founder for one of the oldest university in Malaysia, UITM. Let us give al-Fatiha and also dua to Allahyarham, to Dr. Arshad Ayub, who passed away this morning. Al-Fatiha. May Allah bless his soul with forgiveness and Jannah, and also to be entered into the groups that bless Allah and together with the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. All right, the importance of control. Controlling is basically you have these activities: monitoring, comparing, and correcting. These three main activities. So when do managers do this controlling? Annual basis, weekly, monthly. It doesn't have the duration, but you can do it at the end. Also, you can monthly or weekly. You can also do it concurrently. Okay. While doing that, at the end of every work, you stop and then reflect. Reflection also part of what I call monitoring. And then you start to compare your job for today with yesterday's. And today is supposed to be better than yesterday. That is on individual. Organization as well. That's why we have the records. Okay, we have the CCTV, for example, to record the movement of people, part of controlling. And also self-reporting from the individual workers, what they have achieved. So the purpose of controlling, once again, is not to find faults, it's not to punish, it's not to make people life difficult, but rather it is important in order to ensure that you can You can develop strategies. You can develop plans, all right, that can achieve your goals. Number two, when you have controlling, monitoring and controlling, you will be able to make the employees independent. Okay, they can be independent. They know what to do, what to be expected. So you can empower them, okay? Give them the trust and give them the standards, the expectation, the goals, and then they will do as expected. Number three, also to protect the workplace from uncertainty. If people do not know what to do, and then people will be doing in the darkness, and then you might be wasting resources. You might not be able to make the company or organization in the better perspective, better reputation. And more important thing, you can stop from any harms. Okay, in Maqasid Syariah, we have to stop, we have to avoid, we have to stop, we have to be proactive, not to allow any harms from occurring in the organization. Okay, so we have to ensure that we always protect ourselves and also others. Maqasid Syariah perspective means we have to protect the five what? The five important objectives of human existence. You have to protect your faith. Yeah, you have to protect your life. What else? To protect your mind, right? Yeah, to protect your intellect. Then to protect your dignity, right? Your dignity or your lineage. Finally, your wealth. Yeah? These five existence. Our university presented this to our rector, presented this to the world at UNESCO, and he talked about the five human existence. And then they said, what do you think about these five human existence? Protect life, protect faith, protect, dignity, knowledge, and well, what do you think about these five? Adi, do you agree with the five human existence? So these people are scientists. These people are rationalists. And they say, yes, so far based on our observations, our scientific discovery, these five are reasonable to protect the human interests. So that's what we call Maqasid al-Sharia, the five objectives. But again, we are not there to get the acceptance. Our religion is not about, do you agree with our religion? No. Because lakum dinukum waliyadin, right? We hold that particular principle, lakum dinukum waliyadin. But why? We just wanted to advocate da'wah. Just to tell them, we wanted to tell you, you can have so many ideas about how to have good life, but why don't you focus on the five? Instead of 17 goals. SDG, right? 17 goals, too difficult to remember, right? You can remember number 1, number 2, number 3, and then after that, confused. Someone said, to give food to people, it also can protect their marine life. Life underwater. You might be wondering how to, by giving food, can protect also the life underwater. That's also one, also can rationalize. You give food to people, how can you protect fish? You protect, turtles. You protect, those in the river and also in the ocean. So many, right? 70 people so confused. But if you to protect five, easy, isn't it? So in other words, our university proposed to the United Nations, 17 is too many. Too many 17 to remember. Why don't we just limit to 5 only? 5, isn't it? Huh? Easy, 5. Of course, in our language, called Maqasid. But we want the world to subscribe to the 5 only. Can we limit to the 5 principles? Okay, it is Maqasid al-Sharia. And in Malaysia, we have Maqasid al-Sharia Index that measure the governments and also the administration. The last score was 50%. The first time launched, 80%. The second time evaluated, 50%. What does it mean? From 80% to 50%, it means that, is it good or bad? I think you can see by yourself, isn't it? Whether the markers have been protected or not. Right? Can you see? Is it our life protected? Do you think our life is protected well? People can be killed at any day, right? Every daytime also can be killed. Life is no longer valuable. How about faith? Are people protecting their faith? Somebody declared they don't want to have any faith, or they wanted to have multiple faiths. Okay, plural faith or multiple faiths. And then talking about wealth, people willing to steal, isn't it? To rob, and also to manipulate scams. Billions, right? Billions of ringgits being stolen through scam. Wealth is not protected. That was 5 years ago, 50%, Makasik, being called upheld by people in Malaysia. Now, what do you think? Is it still 50%? 50% out of 5, Makasik, let's say we only protected 2.5. Another 2.5 not protected. Now, do you think all the 5 are protected? So you can see by yourself, no? You don't have to use calculator. You can see by yourself whether or not you're protected. On campus, alhamdulillah, protected, right? Okay. Outside campus, not sure, right? Not sure whether you can be protected. But in general, if you just reach 50%, it is not good in terms of overall protection. You have to protect 100%. Think 5 out of 5 cannot be 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5. Must be 5 out of 5 because this is about human existence. Okay, that is the Makasik perspective of controlling. Okay, where is controlling placed in the management functions? It's number 4. Right? But how do we relate controlling with other functions? Controlling, normally we relate with the planning, isn't it? Okay. At the planning level, we set the goals, objectives. We develop strategies and plans, how to achieve the goal. And based on the goals, we created the standards. Okay, the standards, the policies, the guidelines. Right, the measurement, the KPI. Okay, we created the KPI, key performance indicators. Okay, what will be the job that you have to do? So those are the standards. The expected standard mean these are the things that you have to do. Okay, whether you do just meet the standard or above the standard, but not below the standard. Standard is Makasik. Islamic term, standard is Makasik. Makasik means the minimum threshold that you must meet. Okay? If you don't meet the standard, mean you below standard, mean you already compromise the objective or the maslahah. And then the measurement is to measure in terms of faith, in terms of the goals and so forth. Whether you achieve 100%, 50% or not. Whether or not you can accept the 50% achievement of the goal. In the university level, student must achieve minimum C, right? 50 out of 100 in order to continue your studies. And you have to maintain your CGPA 2.0. Continue from semester 1 until the final semester, maintain 2.0 C, and then you can graduate. That is the minimum. Okay, but of course you need to achieve more than the minimum. Now what happens if below 2.0, let's say 1.99, you are no longer allowed to continue your studies. Okay? You will be given chance to repeat or to re-emit. Then we start all over again with a new accounts. Okay, and you still cannot get reach 1.99 CGPA, and then no more chance. The university will just ask you to find another university. So why that we need to have the standards? This standard actually to ensure the quality of the education and also the learners, the graduates. So then we do the comparison whether or not our standard is a market standard or industry standards. So we have organ standard and also we have the industry standard. So normally they will compare this university has a very high standard in the past. And now all the universities in Malaysia already streamlined. They make it just one standard, same grading system, same grading point. Not to say that A in IOM or B in IOM is equivalent to A in other university. No, no such thing. In the past, yes. If you obtain B in IOM, in other university, it's like A. In the past, because no, we don't standardize, all the grading system. Now already standardized. In the past, in fact, what's that? A for Allah. Forever, no human can get A. Right? Because A for Allah, isn't it? The person said, why I cannot get A? Because A for Allah. And then A minus for the vice chancellor. How about B plus? B plus for the dean. And then how about B for the lecturer. Student from B minus until C. This is not the purpose of having grading system, right? If that kind of definition. So we revise, we make a standard, follow the market standard, and follow the national standard. So how controlling also can be relevant to organizing and leading. Organizing is about work, isn't it? Yeah, you arrange the work activities, and the work cannot be outside the standard. You cannot do something that contradicts to the objective, to the purpose of the organization. How about the leading? Leading means the way you communicate, the way you motivate your people also must be relevant to the work. They cannot for the self-purpose or self-agenda. So all this will be done by the auditors. Auditors actually appointed by the managers. Actually, this job is the job of managers, right? As manager, you can appoint others to help you to do the monitoring and controlling. But actually, this job is the job of the managers. So the auditors do the audit and reported the audit findings, presented to the managers, and then up to the managers. Whether the managers want to take action or not, it's up to the managers. Okay, brothers and sisters, if you are auditors, don't feel that you are the Supreme Court judge. No, you are not the Supreme Court judge, but please remember, you are just a worker. Just like the janitor, the cleaner, the gardener, same level. You are just a worker. So I just remind myself, Finally, an auditor, you are not Supreme Court judge. You are just like the security guard, the janitor, the gardener, same level. The only thing you are doing, knowledge-based activities. You don't use your hands to do the grass cutting, etc., but use your knowledge and also your wisdom to observe the activities in the organization. So that's why on Thursday, I say we don't have class on Thursday. Because 2 days from tomorrow onward, I have to do the auditing for one program. Right? That's why this today is our final class. Supposed to be Thursday final class, isn't it? But because of the another job appointed by university and the job related to this monitoring and controlling. So I'm practicing whatever I'm teaching to you. No, it's not something that just teaching without doing the practice. So the teaching is easy. The practicing then you know ups and downs, how to face with your customers, with the managers who couldn't understand the purpose. Okay, the process, number one. Okay, of course, you have to develop standard. Once you at the planning level, you actually develop the standards. And next, then only you measure the actual performance. Measure again the standards. Whatever expected, you measure. And then compare between the expected and also the actual. Very simple. This is the actual, this is expected. And then see whether or not we have differences or discrepancy. What happens if you have differences? Then you go for the third step. You have to take action. Take action can be do nothing. Do nothing also is an action. Because you didn't do anything, it is inaction. It is not a dormant. Do nothing also considered as management action. Because manager decided not to take action is also a managerial action. Okay, if manager take action, it can be corrective action. Can be also reverse. Can be that they don't do the corrective action, but they are doing the revision of the standard. The standard is very high. Okay, so far, okay, the process. When we talk about process, any process in the system, you have inputs, process, and outputs. When you talk about process, this process must also already have inputs, and the output will be the improvement for the organization. Okay, this is about the range of variation, whether or not you can accept or not to accept the differences. The standards, what you have already decided at the planning level. So if the achievement is beyond the standard, okay, what is the upper limit? And it is below the standard, what will be the acceptable lower limits? We call the range, the mistake that you can be tolerated. If too high, what is where you can give bonus? If below, you cannot punish. But if below, then the acceptable lower limit, then you have to see what actually the problems. Okay, you need to have that range. Okay, this range is reasonable because to accept the reality and also to accept the challenges that we have in our environment. So next, we have to do the corrective action. It can be into two. You can do the basic corrective actions. Just wanted to know what went wrong with the mistakes, or you can also do the immediate corrective action. Okay? You do the correction at the points of the mistake. Okay? You can do later or you can do on the spot, depending on the situation, urgency of the situation. Here, for example, here, all right. When, for example, when you see something is, when you see emergency, something is in the fire in workplace, you cannot do the basic corrective action, right? When you see fire, what you have to do? When you see fire, immediately take this, right? Don't see fire. Okay, brothers and sisters, you see the fire, right? All right. What do you think about fire? What makes fire, inflame? Can you see what is the cause of the fire? How to reduce the fire? Any formula? And then by the time you finish, finally we agree. All of us with the shura, we agree to take this and extinguish the fire. That is a basic corrective action. But in that situation, we have to do immediate, right? You don't have to discuss whether to get agreement or not. You see quickly, take this and point it at the fire. That is we call immediate. Similarly, in organization, certain situations you cannot wait. For example, during COVID-19, right? You cannot wait. They have to close, quickly close the business, and us workers stay at home. Don't come back to the office. Whatever you left in the office, just forget about it. If you left something inside the refrigerator, your rendang, no, forget about it. Some people left something inside the refrigerator, they wanted to come back. Oh, my rendang, my this, etc. Forget about it. Now after 2 years coming back, mashallah, a lot of experimental items in the refrigerator. You know what? You keep algae, right? Or the rendang that you kept, in the past 2 years or 2 years plus already became something else. So then the company has to do the cleansing. They have to clean the refrigerator. Too smelly. Okay, what needs to be revised? You can revise the performance, or you can revise also the people. Okay, if the performance, for example, standard too high, for example, too high for people to achieve, then you revise. Okay, this has happened in the, I think, in the public examination, right? Public examination like STM. Because public, we're talking about 500,000 people, isn't it? And how to ensure that, to make people happy. They wanted every people to get, to achieve a high score of STM, for example. And then they use the system, right? What is the A, what is the B, right? To determine. It's no longer following the matrix of the general matrix. So they are following because based on the data that they have, and then they use the statistics. So this percentage, first quartile A, this percentage, whatever, we have A plus, B plus, etc. Then all of them can enter into university using this matrix that they use. Why? Because they have to ensure that no schools or no student left behind. But when they enter a first year degree program, then they couldn't cope because they said we already done our mathematics, our mathematics, additional math, etc. All the math is score A. But when you enter to business mathematics class, what happened? What can I do? What can I do? You might wondering, right? Wondering, of course, I got A plus in my math. But why I couldn't get it? I couldn't even get C in my business math. Then did you find that? Or you find same? Oh, I got A plus in my math. Here also I got A plus plus in my business math. If that person, that's good. The system is called perfect. But what many people discovered that they say they add my A plus, but when they are doing here business math, they just C or C plus. Why? Perhaps you have to check whether is it because of the knowledge, is it because of yourself, also is it because of the study system. But we check, students said, oh, because of the study system. Because at the secondary school level, you have your tutorial, right? You have tutorial, you have a practice, you have your warden that study. You don't study, we will give you the rattan, 100 strike in front of the public. Is it so? I don't know. I've never been to boarding school. Is it so? Or sometimes, pretending study. Warden came, study. Warden left, continue to sleep. This is what some people say during their boarding school time. But again, alhamdulillah, the reinforcement, right? The reinforcement make you study hard. But here, nobody reinforces, right? Your business math lecturers didn't come and see, are you studying your business math, right? No, right? Nobody going to reinforce you. That's why here a little bit relaxed. Therefore, you don't focus on your study. But actually, some of them they blame because of that system. They're using this statistic to give many people A plus. But university level, we don't use this anymore. We don't use this anymore. No, for university level, we don't go into statistic. Okay, this people are supposed to get A, this people B. No, really based on the individual performance. So those who score science A plus in their science, they enter into medical school first year, they collapse. because they study science, biology, physics, at the school level, totally different when they studied subject at the School of Medicine. Because when you study in the School of Medicine, it's no longer experiment, whether you know or you don't know. Doctors cannot say, I know, or you cannot say that I'm not sure. Doctors cannot say not sure. You have to say whether you know or you don't know. You know, then you can do. If you don't know, out you from the the system. They cannot tolerate. No mercy. Professor, can you give me a chance? No. Your multiple choice. If you score, if you correct, the multiple is correct, you got marks. If your choice is wrong, you got deduction. You can't afford to make mistake. At the end, you fail. You fail your paper. Multiple choice paper fail at the medical school. Why? They say, my mistake only 3 out of 20. Why I fail a paper? 3 mean you already killed 3 people. In the reality, if you make mistake, you already kill 3 people. No, cannot. So 3, you already out. You cannot fit to be medical student. Therefore, you fail and find another subject. So welcome to Department of Economics and Sciences to study economics. You can make mistake, no penalty. Because in economy, you can make mistake. No people going to be killed by your wrong decision. The only thing they will be disheartened, right? Disheartened or they're depressed, they are not happy. That one won't kill people. Okay. Okay, this is the process, how you can make decision whether to do correction or to revise the standard. So based on the goal becoming a standard for you, and then you measure your performance and compare between the actual and also the standard. So if a standard being achieved, so okay, do nothing. If not, what went wrong? Check for the deviance or the discrepancy. If there is nothing that it is obvious within the acceptable range, so do nothing. But is it is not, then you have to look at the standard. Is the standard is acceptable? If no, if the standard is a problem, then you have to revise the standard. And standard can be revised. ISO standard can be revised. It is not fixed because we are the one who created the standards. So therefore, logically, right, we can revise. For example, I want to achieve 1 million this year. I couldn't achieve. So next year I revise to 0.7 million. I can revise. As long as I can have many, I can have a more realistic achievement. Okay, measuring performance. So we need to measure our performance. Like yourself, you can measure your performance also, right? Your subject, what is the score for every subject? And that is the end of the activities. Organization, so they have performance, normally profit for the companies, profit as their end of the result. Employees will get their salary at the end of the year, bonus, based on the organization performance. If company doesn't make profit, what happens if you pay someone who the company doesn't make profit, but you keep paying bonus to the person? Is it logical? Sometimes happening in our market, right? The company doesn't make profit, but the company keep paying bonus or perks to the top management. Not logical, something that irrational. If you don't make performance, therefore no need to pay the performance because there is no performance. Of course, you have to pay salary. Salary don't compromise. That is the contract, and also the law that require you to pay salary for any service that rendered by the person based on the contract. In Malaysia, minimum. What is the minimum wage in Malaysia? Anyone have an idea? How much? RM300 per month? Minimum. RM1,000. 1,500. 2,000. So that's why we need to have no minimum wage, because we want to reflect the cost of living and also our basic needs. 1,500 in Kuala Lumpur, not sufficient. But if you can share, one flat house, one unit with 20 people, I think 1,500. I had an experience during my student days. I live outside campus as well. In PJ campus, if you had the chance in the past to go to PJ campus, we have flat houses near PJ campus. So 20 of us rented one unit. That unit has 2 bedrooms and 1 toilet. But how many students, rented that unit? 20. The original only 3. The original tenant only 3. The landlord only know 3. The rest sublet. So the 3, they will find their friend also wanted to stay. Originally just to put up for a few nights. And after that permanently. Why? Because we find our life better in the flat house rather than campus. Why campus? A lot of regulation, right? Cannot cook, cannot dry your clothes here, cannot do this, you have to come back before 11 p.m. And then you cannot do this, you cannot do that, all lot of restriction. So 20 students find one house occupied. 20 people, no problem. You have to train yourself not to occupy in a house that many people. Why? Because later on when you perform Hajj, 500 people, 1 toilet. Can you imagine, 500 people, 1 toilet? The ratio. 500, 1 toilet. Can you imagine? Any of you had the chance to perform Hajj? I'm not talking about the hotel, I'm talking about the Arafah and the Muzdalifah. That's why they need young people and also very healthy people, so that you can control your digestion system and also your urination you have to control, because if you cannot control, then you need to frequent yourself to the toilet. Of course, over there you have to focus not to the toilet. You have to focus on your ibadah. In the Arafah, it's not. Of course, the toilet. The first time I arrived, oh Allah, please help us. 1 toilet for many of us. May Allah help. Alhamdulillah, Allah help us. Because that time you have to make dua. Oh Allah, please allow me. And then I think about more than 8 hours, not using toilet, for 8 hours. At night, Alhamdulillah, at Muzdalifah, after wukuf, you go to Maghrib Muzdalifah. Alhamdulillah, Allah placed us near the toilet and empty. MashaAllah, Allah gave me a toilet that very empty, spacious, and water also very nice. You know what? After 8 hours of tested by Allah, MashaAllah, I got a very good shower. MashaAllah, and then Alhamdulillah, clean all myself. And of course, to continue the Maghrib, the stopover at the Muzdalifah without any tents. Muzdalifah no tents at all. Your roof is sky. Your bed is the ground. So what do you feel? And the weather is also cold at night. So I have some, of course, you used to sit on the bed, right? But you have also some joint problem and so forth. That time we still young. Okay, maybe we have people that who are very old and they have some problem with their health. Okay, this is something that we have to consider ourselves. 20 start to train 20 people to use toilet for 20 people to save costs. Of course, in terms of safety, it is not advisable. But what is the alternative? Even though one toilet, what is the alternative, brothers? How many brothers we have alternative? Yes? That pitch area, we have many surrounds and masjid, isn't it? So I want you to go to masjid. If you have motorcycle, you go to the masjid. If you don't have motorcycle, you go to the surround. So you occupy the surround toilet. Oh, all the surrounds masjid full with people. What? These people are from the university community who do not have enough toilet. Okay, employees' performance, bonus, and also benefit to be given to them so that they will be motivated. Okay, at the same time also, we also need to look at in terms of the productivity. Productivity means production, how many inputs that you can produce by the workers. For example, plantation workers, you have to produce a number of fruits, number of hectares or place that assigned to you, and then the company can sell the fruits from the plantation. If the fruits are all low quality or less fruit, then the company cannot get money from the sales of the fruits. So therefore, the productivity is reduced. So next, how about the effectiveness? Is how the goals and how the goals can be met within the resources that you have. If you use a lot of resources, and then you are not able to be efficient, and therefore you also cannot be effective. So this also we have bonus for this. We have bonus for the effectiveness in the plantation, right? Because you can save costs. That's why managers in the plantation or in the manufacturing, they are very concerned about the cost. To the extent they make the employees like slave in the plantation and also in the factory. That one is not human. Okay, too much of money, they became wealthy. But at the end, do you think that these managers continue to be wealthy when they became so cruel to their workers? The story all ended in a very tragic as well. You know what happened to these managers who are cruel to their workers? Either they got sick, heart attack, or they got accident, or sometimes some of them got problem with their nerve system. They became insane and so forth. So Allah doesn't give cash, the punishment. Of course, in Makkah, the punishment is cash, but here you'll get a letter. Okay, after 20 years, then you know what went on with me. Remember, you were very cruel to your workers at that time. Now, or if not you, your family members will get the returns. Okay, whatever you invested, you will get the return. Remember that. Even though you haven't reached your hisab in the hereafter, but here Allah already given you the punishment. Either it is immediate or not immediate, or whether directly or indirectly to you. Okay, so therefore, be humanized, be kind at all the times. Okay, these are the benchmark or industry base to compare ourselves and our industry. Okay, for company, they give themselves in Fortune 500, Global 500. In Malaysia, we have Enterprise 100 and so forth. And they have their criteria, okay, in order to tell that you are at par, okay, with the industry. For university, we also have the ranking and rating system. Okay, for example, we have this. Anyone familiar with any ranking or rating system? I think I am also based on the ranking, isn't it? Did you use ranking as one of the reasons to enroll into IIM? No. If you're purely using the ranking, you won't be here. I don't think you'll be here because of the ranking, right? Because we are not the IIM is not top 200 in the world. Even though we call ourselves international university, but based on the ranking of the QS World University Ranking, out of 26,000 universities worldwide, our university is not the top 200. So where are we? We are in the 1,000. Okay, in the top 1,000 only. Still 1,000 better than 36,000, right? At least we are not the 26,000. We are the top 1,000. Of course, we can. These are the agreement because the ranking that used basically not about education. The ranking is about whether or not you get money. We don't say anything, right? If I can sell you, I can make money, right? Section 5, 5 million. Section 6, 10 million. Section 8, 2 million only. Auction. I cannot sell you, right? If I can sell, I can make money, right? They use the money generating sales. You can create money, generate money. We cannot sell anything. You cannot sell shares, you cannot sell our knowledge, you cannot sell. And then they say you need to get powerful people. I cannot get Bill Gates to come here. I cannot get someone in Tesla to come here. Only Pak Jokowi can be friend with Tesla boss, right? Even Pak Ismail also cannot get in touch with. Pak Ismail went there, cannot get in touch with the Tesla owner, right? Only Pak Jokowi managed to have a lunch with Tesla owner. So our representative, our prime minister only met the manager only, manager of Tesla. So mean to say that we cannot get. It's not the correct, the correct measurement, correct standard. So put us into top 100. You know what happened for those who in the top 100? Those in the top 100. Undergraduate is not considered as their priority. So this university, they have a lot of postgraduate. So they don't have undergraduate. They pass undergraduate to other universities. So they flooded the undergraduate at not the top 200. So if you can find undergraduate, but not that many. Compared to other universities. UKM, UPM, USM, UTM, these are the top 5 universities in Malaysia. They have less undergraduates. What they need, they have more postgraduate, more PhD and master students because these people are doing research, publication, and also generate money. But you have 144, I'm having 144 undergraduate students. Can you generate money? You can only generate videos. But the video also not sellable. Not many people comment, they only give very short comment. And also nobody wanted to give advertisement also to your video, right? If you calculate, I am not a good salesman. My business is very bad, I invested my time in 144, but I didn't get any sales. Therefore, from QSO ranking, this is a lousy lecture, cannot generate money. Is it the purpose of education? Is it to sell you? No, it's to educate people. That's why we don't want to be ranked into that ranking. So, but some people, they are not here because they wanted their parent and also their sponsor. I can only sponsor you if you go to the top 100 university in the world. UM is number 70 in the world. And then UPM, UCAM, they are around, about the 100. So they are top 200 in the world. So UM is almost like top university in US. Okay, like Boston, Harvard, etc. They are in this category. IUM category, I also do not know. Where is the category IUM? Perhaps somewhere else. Some university in Rwanda, Nigeria, Uganda, Kenya, etc. In terms of QS World Ranking, but there is no absolute, brothers and sisters, not absolute. It is only marketing based. So we created one more. We joined one more system called United Nations University. Because we include not 26,000, all the universities under the 165 country members. So therefore, not to 26,000 universities, more than that. So we rank as the Green Gown Awards, and we received the outstanding award in terms of the SDG. That's why I know all your projects now, all SDG, right? I think university all SDG, isn't it? Business, Math SDG, PPM SDG, accounting SDG, UNGS SDG, everything SDG, because we position ourselves with the United Nations University, which is more human, more environmental rather than money and money making. Of course, money is important also, but not money becoming your main purpose. Okay, for employees, what happens if they are not able to do the work as expected? Of course, you have to take disciplinary action. Yeah? For those who are absent, for those who don't perform their job, so you have to give notice, and you have to give reminders, and also you need to give them chance to improve. In Malaysian law, we cannot immediately terminate them. We cannot immediately terminate our workers. But what we can do now in Malaysia, instead of giving permanent job, we don't give permanent job. We give contract or casual. So what's the implication of contract? If the workers are not performing, don't renew the contract, right? That's it. We give only 1 year, that's it. No more renewal. All right. Or casual, we can terminate the contract, we terminate the contract. If employment, you have to give evidence until you can terminate. When you terminate the person wrongly, you can be sued by the workers in the court of justice, industrial court. So nowadays, to be safe, managers use contract employment or contract workers, not just in the private sector, public sector also. Contract doctors, contract nurses, contract teachers, contract contract lecturers, contract administrators, right? And if possible, also contract leaders as well, right? Everywhere contract. But after all, our life also not very long term, right? Our life also is not that very long. So we also have a contract with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Remember the contract? Alastu bi rabbikum. Right? Alastu bi rabbikum. And then we sign the contract, right? We say, Bala Shahidna. That is a contract. Yeah, the contract we already signed with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Okay, this some of this mean that you can take action on attendance, behavior at the workplace. For example, they don't listen to you. Okay, they do something that that harm others, dishonesty, fraud, and also harm others. They became very violent, discriminative, and so forth. Any other thing that you consider disciplinary problems for workers? All right, type of control, you can use system perspective for control. For input level, feed forward, we anticipate first. Okay, anticipate the problem, we come up with guidelines, SOPs. These are the feed forward control. That's why everybody must wear PPE. Sometimes not reasonable, right? Why that we have to wear PPE to harvest oil palm or to do rubber tapping using PPE? Very heavy PPE, right? So you want to harvest the oil palm, right? Safety helmet, safety vest, boot, gloves, etc. Very heavy. And then they say to avoid accident. No accident, right? This is why you call feed forward. The PPE SOP is to anticipate. Of course, it doesn't happen. Okay? Because it based on study, if you don't wear your safety helmet, your PPE, you will be exposed to the accident in the workplace. That's why you have to wear. When you cook, right, you have to wear apron, right? Glove. Okay, and then you have to cover your head, right? Why do I have to cover head? My hair is short, right? Why? Short or long doesn't matter, right? Because it can be anything from your head can fall into the soup, right? Your hand also must be using glove. That is called feed forward control. Concurrent, you already wore PPE. Suddenly, you still no, you are not able to protect the work, and then immediately you have to take the person up from the place, replace immediately with other people. Even in PP also the person that perform, you have to be quickly, just like the football, right? If the person, the coach see that this person is not doing good work, right? Is he doing as a player or doing shopping? Yeah, recently they said, is that goalkeeper or shopkeeper? Okay. Shopkeeper, what's the difference between shopkeeper and goalkeeper? Goalkeeper taking care of the goal, right? Goal post. Shopkeeper doing shopping. Shopping around at the football field, huh? Instead of taking care of the football. This is the remark from the very angry audience. They got very angry. You are not goalkeeper, right? You are shopkeeper. This is the intonation. So the manager must quickly replace the goalkeeper, replace the captain immediately, because they see the dangerous at that place. Feedback at the end, post-mortem. This is what you call the post-mortem. Okay. In between, during the process, we can do the also controlling by MBWA, management by working around, or we call workabout nowadays, or spot check. Okay, for example, like that while teaching yesterday, answer director appeared here. Hi. Say hi. What does it mean? Suddenly he appeared here. He is doing the concurrent control, what we call MBWA, walkabout or spot check. That is the level we call the concurrent. But right now, he only did the feed forward, provide all the guidelines, and also at the end, based on your survey, then also they will study. I think have you signed your student feedback survey? Okay, you need to sign that before you can print your exam slip, isn't it? Is it true that if you don't sign you don't evaluate the work student feedback survey, then you cannot print your exam slip? Some people say to me that they can print even without doing the survey. Might be some kind of shortcut. Yeah, that is we call the feedback survey. So we don't have the concurrent, we only have the feedback. Based on the feedback, will be used to improve the SOPs, guidelines, policies at the feed forward input level. All right, tools for controlling performance. We have financial control, money matters, information control, balance scorecard, and also we can do the benchmarking, comparing ourselves with others for the best practices. Okay, balance scorecard is just to measure money against the input and also the activities at the workplace. All right, you will be doing this in your financial management, etc. You will be doing this. But of course, in this subject, we don't require you to do this calculation. Don't worry, brothers and sisters from human side, don't worry. English, anthropology, sociology, don't worry, you will be tested. I would ask, can you tell me how are you going to interpret the liquidity ratio, level ratio for this company? This one you will take financial management, then you will study this in detail. Information control. Okay, this is how we do the analysis of our activities. It can be by person, by individual, and also can be by department and so forth. And then we put together money and also process into what we call the balance scorecard. And this is another tool that companies use to see where actually the money comes from. Okay? Is it the money comes from the cost center or the revenue center? Normally, money comes from the revenue center, the sales, right? But not the behind the scene. Yeah, normally behind the scene, they are the cost center. Okay, cost center. They are the one that, for example, doing the inventory, doing the cleaning. They at the back. That's it. They don't involve directly to the customers. They don't make deals with the customer, but they also very important to provide services to the organization. Benchmarking, we see what are the best practice and we apply at our place. Normally we have the benchmarking visits from company to visit another company. Yeah, we can also do the internal benchmarking by examining the practices of our internal departments. This is what I call, that's what we call the quality day. Have you heard quality day? Have you seen in our industry we don't call quality day. We call takrim day. What is the difference between quality and takrim? Takrim, karim, we honor people, right? We honor people because of their performance. We have takrim, best in research, best in teaching, best in engagement, best in eating, best in sleeping. Do we have that? Normally they don't do something personal, right? Do something on organizational. Say some people say, I'm good in what? Good in sleeping. I can sleep, not 8 hours. I can sleep 5 hours. Good in sleeping, not counted. Good in dreaming, also not counted. But good in writing, right? Good in speaking, good in advocacy is counted. Okay, issues in controlling, how to use social media for controlling, especially information. Do not reveal something that is secret. How to control the differences in terms of time zones, in terms of, for example, how to control your businesses at different time zones, how to have the meetings. So many people who used to work in that kind of situation, they are facing problems of different time zones and so forth. How to ensure the workplace privacy. Okay, your information, your data. Nowadays, nothing to sell, they sell data. Right? Because we have a lot of data, right? We keep everything into the digital system. All these are data. And nothing to sell, they sell data. And marketers, they need data in order to do the telemarketing. And that's why suddenly you receive a call asking you to invest in the project, to buy the property. And then also they know yourself. Oh, you are from here, you are this, you are from this country, you're from this state. I know you love to do this. Hey, since when I share with you, who are you actually? I'm from this company, but get to know that you like to do hiking, you like to do, you are the one that heading the motorcycle called Holiday Racing Club. Hey, since when I informed to the world that I'm into this category. Oh, actually, we got from your social media. Oh, you're stalking my social media. You're stalking me. That is privacy, right? Or sometimes your HR, human resource management, they stole your information in order to get money for the department. Okay, this is something that can jeopardize our life. If they know, sometimes they know how many kids that you have. Say the youngest one standard 4. The other one studying at this secondary school. They know everything about your family members. No safety, isn't it? You are under threat. They could know your activity as well. Those are brothers and sisters. These are the issues, Be careful. Don't tell everywhere you go, right? Here at Mahala, here at toilet, here at this. No, don't. Because now you have to, sometimes, not because of you only, because of the place as well. Sometimes when you post something, they can also attract, they can also detect the location, right? That location also can be attract to you and also to the organization and the surroundings. And the governance of the interest of the organization. Nowadays, when you go to any public office now, that you are not allowed to bring your handphone. You put aside everything. You just go inside the meeting without carrying anything, not even note, not even pen and pencil. Take out everything from your pocket, put aside, and you just go there and listen. There are two, because even here they say they want to check whether there's a camera or not. I think too much of watching movie, right? I say, look at me, do you think that people like me can have spectacle like the, in the Mission Impossible, no? Look at pen, check whether or not the pen can, can, when I click, oh, explosive. Too much of, watching action movie. Yeah, sometimes they're too afraid, Especially I had the opportunity to go to Bukit Amal, I have to empty everything from my pocket. I say, what? Because they're afraid. Look at me. I'm not Lieutenant General or something. I'm just a normal person from IM teaching 200 students every semester. What do you think? I'm not even, don't know how to use, the weapon also. But because of the protection, because this is the maximum security department. Okay, theft. People also steal company's property. Sometimes not stealing. They consider that is their property, right? My company's car is my car. My company's house, my house. My company toilet, my toilet. It's good to, but my say our company is your family. Okay, if I family, everything owned by me. No, that is only symbol, only metaphor. But don't use without the authorization or knowledge from your workers. And you have to deal with this employee theft at the workplace. For frequent, concurrent, and feedback. Sometimes you have to check, you have to do spot check. You already have the SOP, you give training, etc. But sometimes you also have to do spot check. Not to say that you don't trust, but you just wanted to do concurrent control. And of course, feedback from other workers for peer evaluation and so forth. All right, that's all for our PPM this semester. Thank you very much for your kind attention. So our final agenda will be the group photo. Brothers and sisters in the Zoom, please. You people, we have less shadow to take photo. How? Okay, all of you, please, in the middle so that I can take photo all of you. Before that, we end our session with us. May Allah bless all of you, and may Allah give us blessing. And I would like to ask for forgiveness for any shortcoming. With that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.